What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's good, people? What is up? What is They went from the fourth level of hell and sent us down to the seventh level of hell. Why? Because then you got Kwanzaa pulling out her titties. The whore pulled out her titties. And these whore bags over here started feeling and fondling on her tits. What?
I don't have it to do with you. Girl, you can go over there, rant and rave. Girl, you can shake all your rainbow bright hair all you want, dear one. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I don't have nothing to do with you, and I'm done. Baby, you can scream my name from the rooftops from now till Jesus come back. I'm done after this.
Introduced to Tick's meat. Do you see what I see? Did y'all really hello, casting, wardrobe, y'all let him roll up out of wardrobe with these fans on, giving us all of this, thinking we were not going to see it? We have been waiting with bated breath and anticipating all season long for the slightest glimpse, and y'all just put it out there this episode in all of its magnificent glory.
Listen, that young man said, baby, you ate on this first date, you giving up the cooch on the first date, okay? Well, you gonna run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. That's our new theme song. That is the new song. Listen, somebody need to put a beat to that. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. That's what y'all got going on.
Called out Sandcastle. Sand, bitch. Ow. Oh my God, it was so funny, girl. Woo, baby, listen, let me tell you something. This shit started to turn into the precursor for some gay porn. That's what I thought it was. Because Big T is getting all, the voice starting to go deeper and get a little more wet and moist and sentimental and all this shit. And it was real gay at this point. Like, I thought the bitches was going to, I thought Lil Bird was going to turn Big T around and do him like he did Uncle Cliff and do the grease it up with City Lou and ran right in there. It's not a coincidence that Big T started off the conversation by trying to find out if Lil Murder was fucking Mercedes, which he found out he's not. It's also not a coincidence that he would start talking about prison. Why? Because the bitches was probably fucking in prison. Uncle Cliff, you better go get your man. Big T got plans for that. Well, he had it on look like something Big Bird vomited up or something like that. Like, I did not like it. That Big Bird couture he was going for, it did not work. Like the pastor of a gay mega church on Easter Sunday. Okay, it was way too much sequins. He had on way too much makeup. Baby, his face looked like Y'all Van Zap's neckline. Okay, just way too much makeup clumped in everywhere on his face. Get it together, sweetheart. And you're a big girl, so that gives you a whole lot of canvas. So that was a whole lot of makeup, honey. Yeah. Rico looked like he was auditioning to be one of the three kings, or he was auditioning to be the main character on Jesus Christ Superstar. Girl, Wayne, did you have on a blue thong or a blue G-string or something? If you did, I want to see it. Get me up in my DMs. I do want to see if you have a blue thong or a blue jock strap or something like that. I'd love to see it too. Anyway, but I liked it with the turtleneck. Now, Troy.
Hey people, hey. I'm trying to get myself together. Hey. Trying to gather myself. Get myself together. Oh, I'm so tired, y'all. Nevertheless, I'm gonna press my way through. We are here. We're gonna make it do what it do. I owe y'all the politics of it all, so we are here. Hey Volvo. Hey Cookie. Hey, by the way. Listen, y'all, we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna do this live. Y'all got me for an hour. Hey Tanya. Hey, I'm so tired, y'all. I am literally exhausted, but I am here. I am here, y'all. Why do I never feel like this? I know it's whatever. I'm here. Tired. But there's a lot going on politically, and I just need to report it. I have on my Marching 100 alumni band hat today as I am preparing to go to FAMU's homecoming this weekend. I will be marching in alumni band. Oh my God, I'm frightened. I am frightened because I haven't gone out there to march in a little bit, and I'm going to put my body through some things it hasn't been through in a while. Dear God. Like, I'm so afraid of what's about to happen to my body. Now, granted, hey, what's going on, Jason? Hey, Tanya. Hey, Diamond Pro Jim. What's up, y'all? Now, granted, while I'm out there on the field, I am going to give the greatest show on earth. Baby, it's going down while I'm out there. At the moment that I am off the field, though, I might pass out and die. Hey, lovely 31 blueprint. So y'all pray my strength in the Lord, honey. Y'all pray for me that I make it through homecoming without dying, Lord. So anyway, what's going on with y'all? What is going on with y'all? Listen, I'm gonna have to drag some people today. I already know. Oh God, just feel it. I don't have the strength or energy today. Right? I am literally. I tell you, I know you exhausted. I've had a very long and trying day. I've been out and about since about 4:30 this morning. Um, I am beat. I literally just want to lay down, y'all. But we're here. I'm here for y'all. I am here for y'all. I'm here for y'all. So gotta get. I don't have that many. There's not a lot of stories in the dossier today. We have some important stories in the dossier today. Listen, I'm looking at these stories, and we might as well from the jump. This is already, I'm telling you, gonna be a sugar spiky live. So let's go ahead and get it out the way now.
Taste the biscuit, taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce, taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce. Get your honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it mixes with my chicken wings. Get none of that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes on my chicken wings. Take us out, Moose.
Taste the biscuit.
Holy Ghost will tell you, don't win at the church. You can win it. Come on, mama. Jesus. I wish somebody help me.
Jesus. Taste the biscuits. Listen, Jason, if that was the reason why I'm tired, if that was the reason why I was up at 4:30, I would be in a better mood. That is not the reason why I was up at 4:30 in the morning. And therefore, I'm not in a good mood. If that were actually the baby, I would be over here in all types of good places, but seeing as how that ain't the reason. I ain't in a good place. Sha. Anyway, hey Derek, what's good, my love? So let's go ahead and get started. So um Senator Marco Rubio, who is right now embattled and enthralled in a campaign to keep his seat in the United States Senate. And let me start by reading what Senator Marco Rubio's website said 2 years ago, the fall of 2020. Okay. Hey, Miss Trisha P. I'm going to read directly from what his website stated in the fall of 2020, after the summer of 2020. Here is what his website said. Quote, after Mr. Floyd's horrific murder at the hands of a man sworn to uphold the law, our nation has seen justified anger. As I said here 2 weeks ago, it is a moment that calls for not just police reform, it calls for a full reckoning with racial iniquities that still plague our nation. The overwhelming and vast majority of these Americans on our streets are peacefully reminding us that yes, Black Lives Matter. And they are not asking that we destroy America. They are demanding that we be more American, that we more fully become a nation with liberty and justice for all. End quote. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what you could find on his website after the summer of 2020, following riots that were, well, not riots, let me take that back. Bad Elton. Protests, that's what they call them, riots, but peaceful protests all over the country in the wake of the death of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and other atrocities across the fruited plains. Now, 2 years later, here is what he's saying. This is what he's saying now. I want y'all to listen to this now. I read y'all what he said before. Y'all want me to read that again? Do I need to read again what he said before? I'm going to read that one more time. I'm going to read, because I want y'all to hear his words from 2020. These are his words. After Mr. Floyd's horrific murder at the hands of a man sworn to uphold the law, our nation has seen justified anger. As I said here 2 weeks ago, it is a moment that calls for not just police reform, it calls for a full reckoning with racial inequities that still plague our nation. The overwhelming and vast majority of these Americans on our streets are peacefully, reminding us that yes, Black Lives Matter. And they are not asking that we destroy America. They are demanding that we be more American. That we more fully become a nation with liberty and justice for all. That's what this whore was saying 2 years ago. Now, here's what he had to say. This is a quote from Marco Rubio. We have to use our oversight role that we have. We should have hearings, for example, on the riots of the summer of 2020. There's been no accountability about the summer of 2020. Who was behind it? How much did the political rhetoric lend itself to it? For example, these efforts to bail people out of jail in 2020, how many people did that encourage to come back out and do that all over again? That is his sentiments. Those are his sentiments some 2 years later. My. What a difference 24 months make. Hey, Tracy. Y'all want me to read that again? I'll read it again. Here's what he's saying 2 years later. Y'all see how his song has completely changed tune? Quote, we have to use our oversight role that we have, speaking about the United States Senate. We should have hearings, for example, on the riots of the summer of 2020. There's been no accountability about the summer of 2020. Who was behind it? How much did the political rhetoric lend itself to it? For example, these efforts to bail people out of jail in 2020, how many people did that encourage to come back out and do that all over again? End quote. These are the people that you all are electing into office. He and his fellow Republicans are upset about the January 6th, the council that the committee that's investigating January 6th. And they seem to believe that the January 6th commission is a freaking witch hunt. I don't know how it's a witch hunt when there was a whole insurrection. There was a whole terrorist act committed on United States soil. They were going to kill the vice president of these yet to be United States of America. They were going to kill and murder the Speaker of the House. The number 2 and number 3 ranking members of the United States government would have been killed at the hands of these people. These people who had a whole insurrection. These people who had a whole overthrow, or who were planning a whole overthrow of the government. These people who committed an entire terrorist act on this nation. The investigation into that is a witch hunt, right? So because of that, and because of the January 6th committee investigating this, Republicans are now saying that there needs to be an investigation into summer of 2020 and all of the Black Lives Matter protests. I told y'all from the beginning this was a whole spiky live. I told you it was gonna be sugar spikes all over the place. I don't know what y'all want from me. I don't know what y'all want from me. We wouldn't have a reason to protest if y'all would do something about police reform, if y'all would do something about the criminal justice system. There have been bills sitting on sitting waiting for the Senate to pick up about police reform, about voting rights, about criminal justice reform, sitting and waiting from a vote of Congress, and I mean from a vote of the Senate. And it ain't get there when Mitch McConnell was the leader of the Senate, majority leader, nor has it gotten there since Chuck Schumer has been Senate majority leader. But this is what we got going on. This is what the fuck we got going on. You got a lot of fucking nerve, Marco Rubio. You do realize that you yourself are a minority, Marco Rubio. You do realize, Marco Rubio, that when some of your same Republican colleagues see you walk out of a room, they call you all kinds of Mexicans. They call you all kinds of WBs. You know what I mean when I say WB, right? They call you all of that. They call you all kinds of everything when you walk out the room. But you're willing to kowtow and step and fetch and all of that shit and sambo dance for these people who don't care about you. They don't care about your people. All they care about is y'all gonna give them enough votes so that they can keep their white supremacy and their white privilege, their mantle of white supremacy and their breastplate of white privilege. That's all they need you for. They use you like a cum rag. That's essentially what you are. You're a fucking Republican cum rag. They use you up, use you to wipe up when they get off. They use you to wipe up all of the the leftover, or the seedy, salacious remnants of the fuck shit that they got through doing. They use you to wipe it up, and then they throw you and toss you to the side, and nobody else wants to touch you because you're dirty and you're nasty. You and a whole lot of them Cubans down in Miami. Y'all got a whole lot of nerve. See, it goes without saying. We know who you are. You Cubans who are in Miami are. We know that you motherfuckers left Cuba because you were upset that Castro was treating black Cubans just the same way he was treating the white, well, not white Cubans, but white presenting Cubans, because you're not white, you're just white presenting. And so y'all fled Cuba because y'all wanted to go to another country that y'all knew was racist and would uphold anybody that was white presenting, not knowing they don't give a shit about you either. You got a lot of fucking nerves, Marco Rubio. You need to go sit your motherfucking ass down somewhere. I'm sorry, I'm in a whole mood, y'all, because shit like that pisses me off. I almost went down a whole dark road. Oh dear God. Let me get off this story. Next story. Next story. Oh, I started to go down something. Baby, I was finna walk it hard. I was finna walk it hard. Just did. I was finna go down some places on Marco Rubio. Thank you, Lord, that I stopped. Mm. Let me get this story out the way. Lord. So, Jason, come on to the front, Jason. Come to the front. We're traveling over to the great state of Arizona, back to Arizona. I told y'all Arizona is fighting to be the third cog in the holy trinity of racism, bigotry, and discrimination in these yet to be United States of America. Hey, Fran J. So this what the fuck we got going on. And if you think it's only going to happen in Arizona, you're fooling yourself. Hear this. Listen to me, good people. If you pay attention to nothing else that I say today, this is the part that you need to pay attention to. Go ahead and click the like button so it can get into the algorithm and a couple more people can come in. Go ahead and click the like button, share it out, because I need everybody to hear this part. This story is of utmost importance. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and non-binary gender conforming members of the audience, if you pay attention to what you missed, hey Cam, you missed me. Damn near lose my mind. I almost had a moment on Marco Rubio. I almost goddamn lost it. I had to dial it back. I almost lost my goddamn mind on Marco Rubio. You got a whole lot of fucking nerve. Let me get up off that story, because this story is likely to make me even more angry. In the great state of Tennessee, not Tennessee, I'm sorry, Arizona. Arizona now, oh, I'm going to get that camp. Oh, don't worry, I am going to get there. Oh, it's already in the dossier. You wait till I go off on those whores. Arizona now has, and like I said, if you do nothing else, please like the video now so this can make it into the algorithm, because this story is very important. Share it out, like or whatever. We have to hear this, because what is going on in Arizona, I can promise you, will be happening in other states. What's going on in Arizona? I'm glad you asked. In the great state of Arizona, we have vigilantes now staking out outside of ballot boxes. You know, the little drop boxes where you go to drop off your mail-in ballots or your early votes. Thank you, DD Phoenix, and stuff like that. There are people now, the conservative, right-wing Yahoo nuts over there, they are staking out outside of these ballot boxes, shotguns in hands, and in some cases, assault rifles in hands. Because apparently, in the great state of Arizona, you don't need it's an open carry state. So they got shotguns trying to intimidate people from voting. Now, here's the deal. What they're trying to do is they're trying to intimidate people who look different from them. If you ain't white, but I'm sure it's if you don't fit the four: white, male, Christian, heterosexual. If they don't feel like you fit the bit four, they're doing all they intimidate you. And so now, some days later, after this has been going on since early voting started, so now, some days later, they're just thinking about ramping up police presence around these ballot boxes, but they're not serious about it. And you can only imagine what's being done and said to people as they're trying to cast their votes. We have turned this country into the things that we've watched overseas, the things that we see in countries overseas, over in other parts of the world, in the Middle East, This country has turned into something no different from what we saw from Gaddafi over there, from Hussein over there, and from all of those other countries over there that we were over there fighting against what they were doing. We have become that. You have people literally staking out outside of ballot boxes to intimidate people with shotguns and other assault rifles and other types of weaponry to intimidate people from voting. What do you think happens in this circumstance if there's no police presence, if there's nobody there? So now we got a whole standoff. Now, in order for a bitch to go vote, we got to go carry locked and loaded, carrying and everything ready to blow a bitch off the earth. Oh no, the major news outlets were notified. You just ain't hearing a goddamn thing. This is what has this is what we have reduced to. This is why I continue to say the yet to be United States of America, because I don't know what the fuck this is we're living in anymore. I have no fucking idea. Hey Tabitha, you have in this country, this is the type of intimidation and stuff with voting that you see in China. This is the type of shit that you see in fucking when Gaddafi was over there in charge of what was Gaddafi in charge of? Libya? I think it was Libya or Algeria, one of them countries over there at the top of Africa. This is what was happening when Saddam Hussein was in power over in um, Iraq. This is what goes on in so many other Russia and other countries where they have these sham elections and they dare you to go and cast your vote and act like you're going to vote against the people in positions of power. You literally have people with loaded weapons. Thank you, Libya. You literally have people with loaded weapons staking out and hanging out outside of the ballot drop boxes, trying to intimidate people from voting. You see what's going to happen. You go over there, you, God forbid, you a black person going on over there to vote. You roll up there to the box and they cock the damn shotgun like, what you doing over here? Bitch, what the fuck you think I'm doing? Listen, I keep telling y'all, there is a civil war coming in these yet to be United States of America. This shit is getting dangerous. Arizona is one of the states that has already voted, has laws on the books that says that they can take, no matter what the election results are, they can let the legislature determine or certify the election results as they deem fit and necessary. We're turning into a country where voting will be a sham. It'll be sham elections, like down there in Venezuela. This is what's happening. But this is the country on the hill, high on the hill, sitting high and looking low on countries beneath us, all pious and self-righteous. Let me read part of this article before I lose my mind. Multiple Arizona voters have filed formal complaints against armed vigilantes patrolling ballot drop boxes near Phoenix. And with just 2 weeks to go until the midterm elections, some candidates are even pushing theories of voter fraud in the state. Republican Carrie Lake, who is running for governor, has been pushing threats of voter integrity throughout her campaign. Arizona's Republican Secretary of State candidate Mark Fincham tweeted, quote, "Watch all drop boxes, period. Save the Republic," end quote. Let me read that again for the people in the back. That is the direct tweet of someone running to be the Secretary of State in Arizona, who, if he wins, It will be his job to oversee elections. And he's encouraging this level brand of fuckery. He's gaslighting these people. He's sending the dog whistle to these fucktards and yahoos all over the place to tell them, these fucking ass clowns, telling them, quote, watch all drop boxes, period. Save the republic, end quote. That's a dog whistle. That's encouraging this fuck shit. Let me finish this out. Maricopa County Recorder Stephen Richer, who is in charge of voter registration and counting early voting, said he's witnessed, quote, threats, you name it, threats to harass you online, but also threats to physically harm you, end quote. So he done been threatened. And that's the person who's in charge of counting early votes. This is a whole mess. This is a whole mess. Poll taxes are just indirect. Now, see, needing an ID that isn't free, or you need to travel miles for when the district is right. The little bit of decorum that was left in American politics went right down the drain with Sunkist admitting, yep, it's been shot to hell. Shot to fucking hell. This is happening. They're doing everything in their power to keep us from voting. Because please be clear, in some states it's already too late. Arizona, it may already be too late. Arizona may already be there. But in many states, this may be, and I know I sound like an alarmist, and I know I sound like I sound real hyperbolic, but it won't sound hyperbolic come 2024. In some states, this is about to be the last true and fair election. In Arizona, it may already be too late. We're going to have sham elections in states starting as early as 2024. Please be clear. They've already put legislation in the books. There's laws already filed that says no matter the outcome of the popular vote, they leave it to the state legislature to certify the election as they deem necessary. It's already on the books in some states. Just a mess. Arizona absolutely was one of the states that was held up. A mess. A complete and utter mess. Just a damn mess. This shit is serious. And I know I come up here sometimes and I seem to be ranting and raving and all is lost and it's gloom and doom. But when you hear a story like this, when the person running for governor who has a good chance of winning is telling you they're here for this shit, when the person running for Secretary of State is the one sending the people out of there, sending the dog whistles out there, calling these people to do this type of stuff, and he's supposed to be the next person in charge of elections, when there are open threats against election workers and people who were elected to positions to oversee elections, when there are open threats to the lives of these people, credible threats. Hell, we just talked 20 minutes ago about the fact that they were getting ready to kill the vice president and speaker of the House. We were just talking about that. Hey, Jay Parrish. Listen, y'all. We have to be vigilant. We could not allow our vote to not be counted. Hell, in my home voting district where I still vote in the great county of Miami-Dade County, there was a whole story during the primaries where there was this guy who was a known member of QAnon that was an election worker and had his hands on all of the ballots, tweeting a picture of him holding the box with all of the ballots in there, saying that he was going to secure the election or secure the vote. A known member of QAnon. This is what we got going on. You can only certify votes that get cast or that get turned in. If you got people sticking out outside of the drop boxes, intimidating people from putting votes in the drop box with fucking shotguns and assault rifles, those votes won't get cast. If you got members of QAnon who are signing up to be poll workers and are holding ballot boxes and tweeting out pictures of themselves saying that they're going to secure the votes, meaning there's a very real possibility some of those ballots may not even make it back to the supervisor of elections, those votes don't get counted. Tabitha, to answer your question, they just are today saying that they're going to try to beef up police presence in and around the ballot boxes for more security. But we're already days into early voting. And so who knows how many people were disenfranchised or intimidated from voting? Who knows? Because we know generally in those first couple days of early voting, that's when a large percentage of those early votes are cast. There's actual videos that you can find on Twitter of people that are these vigilantes out there that are doing everything in their power to intimidate people from voting. This shit is serious. Real serious. Let me get these people out the way now before I lose my goddamn mind. But yes, listen, our ancestors used to say the old spirit. I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around. Remember that one? Turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me. You can't let nobody turn you around because these people, I keep telling y'all, they're trying to take us back to 1776, only with 21st century technologies. These these next election cycles will become existential threats to democracy and to us probably living in a free nation. Let's just be clear. These next couple election cycles, this year and 2024, are going to be where we're faced with an existential threat to what we have this guise of what democracy is and to us being a free nation. Let's just be, and that's not being hyperbolic. These people mean us no good. Let me give you another example of what I mean by when I'm saying that it's a free nation. But you got Clarence Thomas, hmm y'all's boy, the guy who's black presenting. He's not black for real. He's black presenting. Clarence Thomas yesterday temporarily blocked Lindsey Graham's well, I'm sorry. Let me read this. Tell you what he did yesterday. Move out of my way. Um Supreme Court Justice, Associate Supreme Court Justice, I should say, Supreme Court Associate Justice Clarence Thomas on Monday, October 24th, temporarily blocked Senator Lindsey Graham's testimony to a special grand jury investigating whether then President Donald Trump and others illegally tried to influence the 2020 election in the state of Georgia. Listen, this is what you have going on. Now, different circuits in which, or I should say, different states, when things get to the Supreme Court level, and there becomes an emergency um, injunction or an emergency adjudication, or something is pressing, Supreme Court justices have authority and jurisdiction over certain states. One of the states that Clarence Thomas has jurisdiction over is Georgia. So if there becomes an emergency injunction or emergency adjudication or something is needed that's pressing, he can make the determination to either pick it up in the unilaterally, singularly, individually, I should say, for the court or not. And each one of the justices have states that they do the same thing for. So while let's so let me tell you what he did. So what he did was he said, okay, even though the lower court said that Senator Lindsey Graham must testify, Clarence Thomas comes back and after Senator Lindsey Graham's lawyers had it then appealed it to the Supreme Court, where they know they have lined the Supreme Court with a whole bunch of people to do their bidding in the Republican Party. Senator Lindsey Graham's attorney, rightfully so, knew, let me send it up there because I know Justice Clarence Thomas is awaiting. And Justice Clarence Thomas did exactly what he wasn't supposed to do, which is what we knew he would do. He looked at it and said, oh, that's my boy. Yeah, let me go ahead and put a stop on that, put a stay on that. So now this ruling by the lower court, Justice Clarence Thomas says, oh, you said he has to testify? I'm going to put a hold on that until some time has passed and we get a chance to look at it up at our level, meaning he doesn't have to testify momentarily or temporarily. But here's the issue. The issue is the Supreme Court justice is supposed to recuse themselves even if there's the thought of a conflict of interest. Not only is there the thought of a conflict of interest here, there's a direct conflict of interest when the wife of Associate Justice Clarence Thomas was sending text messages, making phone calls, and sending emails to Georgia and other states, telling them that they had to do anything in their power to make sure that Donald Trump won. You sleep in the bed every night with the woman directly involved in this case. And you're trying to tell me that there's no reason for you to recuse yourself, Clarence Thomas? But no, why would we expect him to recuse himself? Nope, he's digging his heels in the ground. Matter of fact, he's basically pissing in the face of anybody who thinks who has a problem with him, because he knows there's a conflict of interest. He knows his wife is guilty of wrongdoing. He knows that he's probably in on it as well and doesn't give a shit, and rather piss in everybody's face and say, oh, Lindsey Graham, you need my help, you need my assistance, I got you, bruh, come on around, don't worry about that, we got this, okay, we got this. That's what the fuck we got going on. This is why I keep telling you all, we're at the brink of losing a free nation and a free state. We will be no different than what you see in countries like Venezuela, in countries like Iran, in countries all over the world that we look at and say they have sham elections and have dictatorships that last decades. We're going to be just like that. We're careening down a path like that. What's up, y'all? Hmm. Let me read this story. 3 days ago, we thought we might be about to learn what Senator Lindsey Graham, knew about the Trump campaign's efforts to overturn Georgia's presidential election in 2020. Graham, who was one of Trump's biggest supporters in the Senate, fought a subpoena from Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis and lost, setting up a situation where the senator from South Carolina would have to tell the truth and plead the fifth under oath before a grand jury. But Graham had a trump card sitting in on the Supreme Court, and you'll never guess who. By which I mean you already know exactly who I'm talking about. Good old Clarence Thomas. He, after years of spending on the bench of the country's highest court without ever uttering a word, unilaterally gave Senator Graham a temporary hall pass from testifying in the Georgia investigation. Thomas temporarily blocked the subpoena of Graham under Supreme Court rules that let individual justices deal with emergency petitions by region. Thomas handles such cases that come from Georgia, which also happens to be his home state. His ruling will allow the full court will allow that the full court could weigh in on Graham's argument that he shouldn't have to testify under immunity granted by the Constitution's speech or debate clause. Now, let me tell you why that's a sham. Because, first of all, the speech and debate clause says that a United States senator can't be taken to civil court. You can't sue them over something that they say in if they're giving an official speech as a senator, or if they're in the middle of a debate. Um, they have immunity there. They can't be sued for it, and they also they have immunity in the capacity of, like I said, anytime they're saying things, they technically can't be taken to court or so forth. But it has to be in an official speech in their official capacity or in a debate. This wasn't none of that. Bro was around here talking to people on the phone, having private committees, ad hoc, unsanctioned committees, sending emails and texts. Ain't none of that shit privileged. None of it. All of that shit is up for grabs. But that's the basis of his of what his lawyer is saying. Um, First of all, you're not even the senator from Georgia. Second of all, you shouldn't have anything to do with Georgia. Third of all, bruh, this ain't that. This ain't no speech or debate. Just a mess. But I told y'all, it's so much going on, so much wrong there. Um, so much wrong there, so much wrongdoing, and you have a Supreme Court that isn't here for any part. A Supreme Court that has been completely politicized. They're not here for any parts of making sure that justice is done. They're here to rubber stamp the things that their political aspirations tell them to. If they feel like this helps out the Republican Party or their conservative political aspirations, they'll go ahead and sign it off. They give no credence and they don't give a shit about judicial precedents. They give no shits really about the Constitution and what it says. All they care about is getting their political agendas further along the way and sending us into a dictatorship. That's what we're careening toward. Or an autocracy. One of the two. That's what y'all got going on with Governor, not with Governor, with Clarence Thomas. So nobody's and where's the outcry from the Dems saying that this man needs to recuse himself? Where is the outcry for that? Where is it? Because he's still sitting on the bench, allowed to adjudicate on cases involving January 6th. And we know his wife was directly involved with the January 6th. But I guess conflict of interest don't even matter anymore. We just don't give a shit about things called conflict of interest anymore. And that's okay, I guess. It's okay. A mess. A mess. Where am I at? Since I'm talking about the weak and feckless Dems, let's go even further. So, y'all know I consider myself a progressive. I'm a progressive through and through. I know what I am. I'm a progressive. So, the weak and feckless chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus decide to put her face in it today. She ain't shit. Y'all know me and Pramila Jayapal. Y'all know I done had a problem with her for a long time. I still question how she got to be the chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, but that's a whole different story. She's weak and feckless. So here's what happened. The CPC yesterday evening had a letter released signed by 30 members of the Congressional Progressive Caucus that said, hey, we need to get out of the business of war with Ukraine. We need to try to get this war to end on diplomacy. That's essentially what it said. It said, we need to put an end to this. We need diplomacy and we need it now. That's essentially what the letter said. I'm just giving you the Cliff Notes version. They didn't say nothing about stop giving aid. They didn't say anything about stop giving ammunition over there. They didn't say anything about stopping. They just said we need to have an end in sight. We need to explore more ways of diplomacy because that's the only way that the war is going to end. Mind you, Volodymyr, whatever his name is, Zelensky up in Ukraine is on record saying that he believes that's the only way the war is going to end, through diplomacy. Weak ass feckless Dems the establishment Dems have now said that because the CPC put that out, that they are aligning themselves with Mike McCarthy. And that they are they must be in bed with the Republican Party, because how could they put a statement out like that? And how dare they? We need, because the Dems really whose pockets are lined by defense contractors are lining the pockets of some of these Democratic brass, some people in the Democratic brass, and they want all parts of war game, just like the Republicans want all parts of wars. So do the Dems, and they ain't hiding it, because the moment that the Congressional Progressive Caucus said, hey, we need to stop this war and try and do some diplomacy, they came right out and said, no, fuck you and fuck your life. We want all parts of this war. We want to keep sending money over there. We want to keep sending ammunition and military weaponry out there and all of this. Remember, this involves NATO. This involves a whole lot of stuff. I agree that they need to get out of the business of war. I agree that y'all spending billions. We're going on 100. We're going on almost $100 billion that has been sent over there to fight a war that has nothing to do with us. Mind you, mind you, these very same people that don't about putting that out, right? These very same people have a problem discussing reparations. These very same people have a problem discussing complete student debt relief. These very same people have a problem putting infrastructure in place so people have fucking running water in this country. But weak ass, feckless Pramila Jayapal saw that, oh, this ain't go like we thought it was going to go. And then she threw her whole um she threw all her people under the bus. All of the people who worked in her office, all of her staff, she threw all of them under the bus and tried to make it like, oh, well, that was sent out in error. And we don't step. Let me tell y'all what this hooker said. She ain't shit. Cause she done threw her whole staff under the bus. Here's what she says. This is Jaya Paul. As chair of the caucus, I accept responsibility for this. Because of the timing, our message is being conflated by some as being equivalent to the recent statement by Republican leader McCarthy threatening an end to aid to Ukraine if Republicans take over. The proximity of these statements created the unfortunate appearance that Democrats who have strongly and unanimously supported and voted for every package of military, strategic, and economic assistance to Ukrainian people are somehow aligned to Republicans who seek to pull the plug on American support for President Zelensky and the Ukrainian forces. Where's it? I want to get to the part where she said it was sent out in error. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here's what she said. She says, because they wrote this letter, it was addressed to President Biden. She said that the letter was, quote, drafted several months ago, but unfortunately was released by staff without vetting, end quote. Because last time I checked, your staff ain't sending shit out unless you give the go ahead. And she just threw all of these people under the bus. Harold, they're sending 5011 relief packages over there because they're here for war. They're here for it. They have defense contractors lining their pockets. And please believe defense contractors are here for all of it because the more aid, the more military aid that they send over there, the more weaponry they send over there. And so forth, those billions of dollars are being used to line the pockets of defense contractors. It's a cash cow. So because, mind you, 30 people signed off on this letter. 30. But she just took it upon herself because she always buckles under pressure. Always. She always buckles under pressure. And she did it again. And it's just, she went on to say, every war ends with diplomacy, and this one will too after Ukrainian victory. The letter sent yesterday, although restating that basic principle, has been conflated to GOP opposition to support for the Ukrainians' just defense of their national sovereignty. As such, it is a distraction at this time, and we withdraw the letter. End quote. You're a fucking clown. You're a whole ass clown, Pramila Jayapal. Now, absolutely. That's the part that they don't want you to hear about, Cams. The part, what you're saying right there, that's the part that they don't want you to hear about. See, that's the part where um, Mike McCarthy sounds hollow and weak because we know, see, the Republicans they do get a lot of money from a lot of these energy resources and stuff like that, and they absolutely don't want that supply line and pipeline to stop. They absolutely don't want that to stop at all, at all. But that's the part that's going to go unsaid. You know, there's always a reason why these yet to be United States goes over to a country and involves themselves in their fight. Because if we had nothing to get out of it, I promise you, we wouldn't be over there. We've never gone anywhere to fight for anything unless there was a reason to be there, unless there was something in it for us. Mind you, Ukraine also, for all of um, the grain that we make here in the United States, Ukraine also supplies most of the world with its grain. The majority of the grain that is shipped and bought in this world doesn't come from the United States in its bread basket. It comes from Ukraine. Also, I think two of the three largest energy sites in Europe are located in Ukraine. Oh, there's a very real reason why they're going over there and fighting in this fight. But we don't, as if we have nothing to do here in our country, as if we have nothing to fix over here. But anyway, to me, to me, Pramila Jayapal should immediately be removed as chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. How she has been allowed to stay in that position is beyond my level of comprehension. Beyond my complete level of comprehension. A mess. A mess. I don't understand how they keep bowing down and cowering to the Democratic establishment. I listen. What's my next story? We almost done, people. For me to say I was so tired, y'all see I'm still over here giving all this energy. Um, this next story is not receiving the the um the press that it should. So I do want to do that now. So if most of you are hopefully are aware of what happened yesterday in St. Louis. In St. Louis, there was a school shooting. A teacher and this black student, a beautiful black girl, was killed yesterday. A former student of that school who was 19 years old came on campus, and just before 9 a.m., he got on campus and started shooting people. There were about 7 people that were injured, and then 2 people who died. They said he had. Let me read some of this so y'all can get some of the particulars. On Monday, a teenage shooter opened fire at Central Visual and Performing Arts High School in St. Louis, leaving 2 people dead and many others wounded. The gunman eventually died at a hospital after a shootout with local police the morning of the shooting. According to CNN, a teacher and a black student were killed. The student was identified as 15-year-old Alexandria Bell, and the teacher as 61-year-old Jean Kirk Kuska, who had been teaching health, personal finance, and physical education at the high school for more than a decade. Bell, that's the student, died at the school, and Kuska while at a local hospital, that's the teacher. Out of the 7 victims wounded during the shooting. 6 of them were black students and ranged from the ages of 15 and 16 years old. St. Louis, and that's according to CBS News. St. Louis Police Commissioner Mike Sachs shared during a press conference on Monday that the shooter was identified as 19-year-old Orlando Harris, a black man who graduated from the St. Louis High School last year and had no criminal history prior to this shooting. There is also still no clear motive as to why he decided to carry out this malicious act. Sack later said during the press conference, quote, the individual had almost a dozen 30-round high-capacity magazines on him. So that's a whole lot of victims there. But because of the quick response that suspect didn't have the opportunity to turn this into, it's certainly tragic for the families. It's tragic for the community, but it could have been a whole lot worse, end quote. And they go into some details about the situation. What they're trying to do in St. Louis is get ahead of this and saying, listen, this is not a Uvalde situation. Baby, when we found out, we immediately got in there. Here's some other details. The shooting just after 9 a.m. at Central Visual and Performing Arts High School forced students to barricade doors and huddle in classroom corners, jump from windows, and run out of the building to seek safety. At 7 security guards were in the school at the time, each at an entry point of the locked building. One of the guards noticed the man was trying to get in at a locked door but couldn't. The guard notified school officials and ensured that police were contacted. That's according to the police chief. Now, we know we have an issue with gun safety in this country. We know we do. We're never going to deal with it, but we certainly have an issue with it. You notice this isn't getting the all of the news and notoriety. One, because these are black students. Two, because these are high school black kids, meaning they're closer to being grown, and we know white America, you know, the news outlets care about grown white people, not so much grown black people. I'm just saying. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Child, Harold, this is what we do. Harold, you got to go listen to some of the old politics of it all. On the old politics of it all, Harold, because I saw your comment right here, Harold. We break stories here. The shit we talk about here, we talk about, and then you hear about it days later in the newspapers and on. We got real inside information here. Inside information here. We break stories here, Harold. Okay, we break stories here. This is what we do. This is our bread and butter over here. Politics of it all. This is our bread and butter. Yep. White America loves, like you said, Jason, a puppy is cute and small. But these are black kids that are in high school, 15 to 16. Oh no, they too old. Nobody's gonna care about that. No, they're too old. They ain't cute no more. Why isn't this running all over the news outlets? Because potentially you could have had dozens of students murdered. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, predominantly white school. Had this situation that Marjorie Stoneman Douglas happened at, let me think of a high school in Blanche Ely High School in Pompano, same county. Had it happened at Boyd Anderson High School, same county, you wouldn't have had all of that. But it happened in affluent and suburban Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, where you have affluent, rich white people. For them, it's that's top of the news where a white girl is crying and bawling her eyeballs out, but a young black girl crying and bawling her eyeballs out, baby, we don't want to see no parts of that. This young black girl lost her whole life. We got 7 people around here that could have died. They're injured, and we still don't have an update on their status at the hospital, but they're hospitalized, haven't been shot. Nothing. A mess. A mess. What's up, Quintessential? I wanted to bring that story to you because I knew y'all know I like to give y'all stories that a lot of times you just aren't going to hear enough about. Um, and y'all know that's what we do over here on the politics of it all. Um, I got 2 other stories. One of them I'm gonna do real fast because it doesn't affect a whole lot of us, but it just was funny to me. I'm gonna do it real fast. Um, well, the last 2 I'm gonna do real fast because I'm ready to get off. It's almost 6 o'clock. So, in the great state of Washington, not Washington, Jesus, I don't know why I say Washington. In the great state of Alaska, we got an issue. So, let me tell you how their um elections go in Alaska. Um, their general elections is called a ranked choice election process, and what that means is they don't really have primaries. Everybody can get in the election, and then whoever gets 50% of the vote, they win. Most times they end up having to have a runoff because it's hard to get 50% of the vote. So you could have several Republicans or several Democrats in their election. So that's what we have happening now in Alaska. Lisa Murkowski, who's the incumbent, she is running, but there's another woman running by the name of um uh what's this lady? Kelly Shabaka. And Kelly Shabaka is endorsed by Donald Trump. She's a Trumper. She's MAGA. Do the moose get to vote as people? You know what? So now here's the problem. Mitch McConnell, right, is backing um Lisa Murkowski. However, the Alaska Democratic, no, I'm sorry, the Alaska Republican Party voted yesterday to censure Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell for what they called spreading divisive, misleading statements about their endorsed candidate in the Alaska Senate race. So they're endorsing, the Alaska Republican Party is endorsing Kelly Shabaka, who's a Trump endorsed candidate. Mitch McConnell is endorsing Lisa Murkowski. They ain't here for it. Now, mind you, I mean, does it mean a whole lot? I mean, Lisa Murkowski had to see this coming. She was censured by she's the Alaska, she's the senator from Alaska. She's one of 2 senators from Alaska, and she was censured by the Alaska Republican Party when she voted to impeach Trump. Remember she was one of the people that voted to impeach Trump. Yeah. And they censured her right there. So the writings were already on the wall for her not to get their endorsement at that point. And so they're going through and doing the same thing with Mitch McConnell. I think Lisa Murkowski knows, had there been a primary, if this were a state where there was a primary, she would have already been out of the race. She would have already been out of the race. But the Mitch McConnell, as well as the National Republican National Committee, The RNC is backing Murkowski and putting money behind her. I don't know if she gonna win, but we'll see how that goes. I thought that was funny that the Republicans are fighting with each other. Um, kind of like us Dems over here fight with each other. Anyway, the last story we have gives me I shouldn't take I shouldn't take this moment to be happy that this is happening to this person, but I can't help it. So it came out this morning that Adidas is dropping um Mr. West, Kanye West from um they've dropped him and they've dropped his from their whole brand. He's no longer going to be able to sell with their brand. So Forbes magazine, who kind of keeps track of people that are in the three comma club, they came right out. He's according to Forbes, the rapper was obsessive about his net worth on the billionaires list. When he was first placed on the list in 2020, he reportedly texted editors and reporters at the magazine that, quote, it's not a billion, end quote, but actually $3.3 billion since no one at Forbes knows how to count. So that's what he told Forbes when he finally made the list in 2020. Y'all got it wrong. It ain't a billion, it's 3.3 billion if you want to be correct. Y'all need to learn how to count over there. So Forbes said that Kanye continued to pressure it every year, including this year, when he tried to claim that he was worth $4.3 billion, but was cited by the magazine as worth $2 billion. Well, Adidas on Tuesday, we know they dropped their partnership with Kanye, announcing that they would immediately stop making products and making his products and paying him. So, and of course, under the partnership, Adidas owns the design rights and color schemes to the product. They own everything. So Forbes has come out on record saying that they're estimating that the musician is no that the musician, quote, no longer has a place on their billionaire list. That's what they said. They came right out. Oh yes, this guy Ye, whatever his name is, yeah. After this whole being dropped by Adidas, he no longer has a place on our billionaire list. Does that mean he actually doesn't have $1 billion anymore? I don't know. Y'all know when you're talking about people's net worth, a lot of it is not liquid funds. A lot of it is what partnerships you have, what assets you have. There's a whole formula that they use to determine all of that. So if he was so hell bent on Forbes magazine being the determination as to whether or not he was a billionaire, and Forbes is coming out and saying that he isn't one. I mean, he did come out and windmill and say, y'all get my net worth wrong. I don't know how much money the man got, but I know he stands to lose a whole lot of money. A whole lot of money. Because people are dropping him like a fat rat. And I don't feel bad for him. I do not feel bad for him. First of all, you cannot listen. And this is for black people, Jewish people, white people, brown people, yellow people, red and yellow, black and white. They are precious in sight. The Rainbow Coalition. You cannot figure that you and your group of people are going to do better or uplift itself at the behest of another group of people. You can't be running around wanting black people to do better, but then saying, but fuck the Jewish people, I don't care about them. But fuck the Cuban people and the Hispanic people, I don't care about them. If every if we truly are looking for equity and equality, you can't be around here talking bad about people, and I'm saying that after I talk bad about the Cubans, they talk bad about us. But anyway, you can't be around here talking bad about Jewish people And you know, these are the people who are paying you. That's just like anybody who works in a 9 to 5. We can't be out here in the media, on social media, on Facebook, dragging our boss every day, getting online, just dragging our boss, just calling them everything but a child of God. Because you're going to find yourself without a job. And you around here, see, Kanye West, listen, Kanye West is a classic case of people thinking that they have their own mantle of white supremacy and breastplate of white privilege. Money does not give you the mantle of white supremacy and breastplate of white privilege. And we have case after case after case after case of black people. They get some money. They think all of a sudden, oh, I ain't black no more. I got my own privilege. I got this money done granted me my own white privilege and white supremacy. Did it work for your boy OJ? Yeah, they reminded him real fast. Did it work for your boy Bill Cosby? Yeah, they reminded him real fast. Did it work for your boy Tiger Woods? Yeah, they started reminding him real fast. And every single time these people get money, they feel like they're in the exclusive rooms. Well, really, they're not in the exclusive room. They might be on the room just outside of the exclusive room to give them the illusion that they're in that exclusive inner circle. But please be clear, you ain't in the inner circle. Because if you were, you would have knew better than to say this kind of stuff. If you were, they would have protected you, and they're bailing the hell on out as quickly as they can. Adidas might be losing $270 million, but it is Adidas, a multi conglomerate that can bounce back. Kanye West is an individual that can't. He's a sinking ship. He's the Titanic, as I like to call the Titanic. He's the Titanic, okay? He's already hit the iceberg. He's already, taking on water. Baby, the people are jumping ship, freezing to death of hypothermia. I mean, you he we've seen this story countless and countless and countless times over. One of the few people who's been great at getting money but never forgetting who they are. I'm gonna tell you the perfect example of somebody who has done that and they haven't forgotten who they are, and thus they haven't had to take one of these epic falls. Oprah. Oprah got some money. Hey, Weezy F. And Oprah, she didn't forget that she was black. She embraces her blackness in all parts of it. She didn't think, oh, I have this mantle of white supremacy and breastplate of white privilege. Now, no, she knows that she doesn't. Tyler, for all that we can't stand Tyler sometimes because he shouldn't be writing nothing else. Tyler has not forgotten yet. Tyler don't have as many years in the game as Oprah, being at that level, but so far so good. Rihanna is at that level of the Three Comma Club. Hopefully, she doesn't lose her mind. And some of these people like the Carters, Beyonce, and Jay Z, they're newer to the Three Comma Club. Tyler Perry, Rihanna, they are new. So, we still got to wait and see if they can keep, themselves grounded and really know how to navigate being at that level and not forgetting that you still are black and the way that you carry and handle yourself is very different from how your white counterparts can handle themselves. We're still here in these yet to be United States of America. The fabric of which is aligned with the racism, bigotry, and white supremacy. Nah, Diamond Pearl Jim. You know what they waited for? They waited for legal. They waited for all of the legal team to force through that whole contract and see what we can do. See how much we now. They knew they was going to take a loss, but they waited for their legal team to go through that contract. Listen, and with a fine tooth combs, dot all the I's, cross all the T's, go back and dot all the lowercase J's and cross all the lowercase F's. Trying to tell you what I know. That's what happened. So that's what happened. I can't say that I feel bad for him because um now according to Forbes, that that deal with Adidas was worth $1.5 billion. Mm, mm. Well, because see, here's what's going to. This is a cautionary tale. Because see, what's about to happen to Kanye? Once you start hemorrhaging money, you who's going to pick him up now? Like he's hemorrhaging money at this point. After a while, and you don't have money, Kanye West, you look like one of these crazy people on the side of the road with under mental duress, screaming out just weird shit all over the place. You look like a mental patient under mental duress. One of these crazy people that's on the homeless people on the side of the road that's just screaming things out and need to get help. He's hemorrhaging money. I would feel bad for him if he would come out and at least be apologetic and remorseful or anything. But this man is doubling, tripling, and quadrupling down on everything and saying that we're all wrong and he's right. Oh yeah, the divorce. I mean, the lawyer was it the divorce lawyer. One of the lawyers dropped him. Everybody dropped him. They're all jumping ship. The Titanic is taking on water and it's going under. You better get off the ship now, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary, non-gender conforming individuals. That is our politics of it all show for today. I came on here telling y'all I was tired. Listen, I need a snack. Y'all hit the y'all I deserve a snack today. We did some heavy lifting today. Y'all can hit up the Cash App today. We did some heavy lifting today. I don't usually ask for Cash App, but I'm tired. Might go get me some crabs today. I think I'm gonna go get me some crabs. But y'all hit the like button, share, subscribe, all of that stuff. Um yeah, Brittany Griner also lost. She went to appeals court today and she lost that appeal. We knew that that was going to happen. She's a political pawn at this point, so she doesn't have an ice cube chance in hell of getting out of there. Not through the Russian court system. That's never going to happen. So, yeah, my heart goes out to her family and stuff like that. Because she's yeah, she's gonna be there for a minute. Anyway, we're about to get up out of here. It's been real. It's been fun. I've enjoyed myself. As I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They are much obliged. They're much appreciated. Y'all know we have fun over here with the politics of it all. I may not be able to do another one until next week. Because this weekend, me and Lil Baby, where's Lil Baby? We gonna be in Tallahassee, partying and getting drunk. So that's where I'll be this weekend. And those festivities will start Thursday night, and they will go through. Um, they'll start Thursday night, and they will go through Sunday. I'll be back Sunday night, so we're gonna have a good time. No, he knows how to get someone in the conservatorship. You know what? You silly. Anyway, I'm about to get out of here, y'all. I'm real hungry. Real hungry. I ain't really ate today, so I need to go handle that. Ciao. Anyway, Shondo's around the building. Shondo's in and out the chat. Y'all know Really B should be going live soon, so we'll all go over there. Thank you so much, Diamond Pro Jim. Thank you, my love. Really B, like I said, should be going live pretty soon. We'll all go over there. I am also slated tonight to be over on Darren Green's channel at 8 to talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac. We'll be on Darren Green's channel to talk about that tonight. So y'all go come on over at 8 o'clock to Darren Green's channel, and we'll have some fun with us there. Tracy, I'll try to Tracy, if you could put the link to Darren's channel, if you can find it in the chat, I will do my best to share it out on my community wall. Let me see if it's up now. If it's up now, I'll put it on my community wall now. See if it's up there now. It is not yet. It's not there yet, but it will be. So yeah, it will be. Anyway, oh, let me see if I can put his channel in the chat for those people who want to come over to his live and see me there. Oh, Tracy got it. Tracy got it. Cam's got it. Everybody got it. I ain't got to worry about it. Come on, taste the biscuits. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. But yeah, we'll be there at 8 o'clock. That's all I got for y'all. Until next time, thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out.